No, I think yes. Okay, the reason why I started streaming is that I start to get distracted somehow. Instead of preparing for IELTS. No, anyway, I'm doing watching something related to English. However, I need better focus now because exam day is coming. Okay, I'm gonna show you how many days left. Whoa, whoa, guys, 12 days. So I had better practice or study with streaming. Okay, yesterday's my mock results were pretty satisfying. Okay, let's well, yesterday's my mock results were pretty satisfying. Am I phrasing my ideas properly?
Your phrasing is understandable, but it can be tightened up for smoother flow. For instance, you could say, I was quite satisfied with my mock results yesterday. Am I expressing my ideas clearly? That sounds natural and concise.
All right, so I was quite no, I won't describe that my results were pretty nice. However, it shouldn't let me relax. In contrast, I should try more.
Ah, I get the nuance. You might say something like, I was pleased with my mock results yesterday, but I know it's no time to relax. If anything, it's motivation to push even harder. That
How
gives you
we
that.
call how we can phrase the situation that we got better results as a result. We don't push as hard as we do or as we did before.
That's often called complacency. Basically, when you achieve a good result, you might become too comfortable and lose that original drive. So, in short, you're talking about avoiding complacency.
Complacency. And how to describe a phrase that, should I say, my better results shouldn't let me to do complacency, but I mean, do you understand what I mean? Yeah, I need a phrase to describe the situation or behavior. I need a sentence or collocation.
I get you. You might say something like, I can't afford to become complacent after these results. Or, these results must not lead to complacency. I need to keep pushing. That frames the behavior you're trying to avoid while keeping your determination front and center.
All right, I kind of understood. So I can't afford to become complacent after this results. This results mustn't. What would be the phrase or idiom about it?
A common idiom would be rest on your laurels. So you could say, I can't rest on my laurels after these results. It means you won't become overly satisfied and stop striving for improvement.
I can't rest on my laurels. What's the laurels mean? And it would be better if you teach me proper way of pronouncing it too.
A laurel is a type of plant, but historically, laurel wreaths were given to victors in ancient Greece as a symbol of achievement. So resting on your laurels means becoming complacent after success. For pronunciation, it's two syllables, laurel. The first syllable rhymes with door, and the second is a softer, subtle o.
Yeah, I got your note. If I'm not mistaken, the Emperor Caesar was given laurels when he won wars, or I can't remember the exact historical event, but I watched a lot of movies, Caesar and some emperors in Rome wearing laurels.
You're absolutely right. In ancient Rome, victors, including military leaders and emperors like Julius Caesar, were often crowned with laurel wreaths as a symbol of triumph and honor.
Whoa.
Those movie scenes capture that tradition well. So now you've got both the history and the idiom to keep pushing forward.
All right, so yes, what I mean that getting this, actually, it's not a score that I'm aiming at. I'm aiming higher. However, during the previous week, I got lower results, pause in preparation with kind of having practice with AI, pause in writing and in speaking. Even sometimes my reading and listening scores were also lower. And so I felt a bit stressed and it really let me down. However, my mock results were better than my previous progress. I'm not sure
I
I'm putting it correctly, but listen. And so somehow I felt kind of overjoyed or delighted and a little bit more relaxed than last week. And so, however, I shouldn't rest on my laurels. I should kind of work harder, taking it as a motivation.
You've got the core idea down. To smooth it out, you might say something like, "So I felt a bit more relieved and encouraged
Yes.
than last week. But I know I can't rest on my laurels. I'll use this as motivation to work even harder." That keeps it clear, natural, and motivational.
All right. So, what do you recommend me to do to improve my level? Which is better now, doing writing or doing speaking?
It really depends on your goals and how you're feeling. If you're aiming for a higher writing band, consistent writing practice with detailed feedback will sharpen your skills. But if speaking is your focus, especially with your IELTS goals, then regular speaking sessions will build fluency and confidence. Maybe balance both. Just lean a bit more toward whichever band score you want to boost first.
Yeah, I want both, of course, but how to balance, how to find the necessary balance to get the maximum result.
A good approach is alternating focus. For example, spend a few days prioritizing speaking practice, mock tests, recording yourself for spontaneous speaking, and then shift to writing tasks for a few days, timed essays, revisions, and feedback. By rotating your emphasis weekly or even within the same week, you'll steadily improve both skills without neglecting either. Consistency in both
Okay,
will
let's do like this then. All right, I wanted to practice what I mean that to improve some parts of my writing. What is in which says are weaker and needs to be polished?
From what you've shared, it seems like you have plenty of ideas, but maybe refining structure and clarity could help. You want each paragraph to have a clear central idea, and your transitions can be polished so everything flows smoothly. Also,
Okay,
check
let's
that
do
your
it
flow.
together. We're gonna do like this. We're gonna choose topic and we'll practice together. And we try to make a paragraph around one idea. All right, and you show me how to do it first, and I try to follow your steps and try to imitate you to get the highest score possible.
Perfect. You pick a topic, something you'd see in an IELTS essay, and I'll guide you through structuring a strong paragraph. We'll go step by step. Clear
All right,
topic sentence,
let's.
supporting details, and a wrap up. Let me know the theme you'd like.
All right. In many countries, bicycles are becoming more popular than cars for commuting. What are the reasons for this? Do you think it's a positive development?
All right, let's take the first part reasons. A strong paragraph starts with a clear topic sentence. For example, bicycles are
And
gaining.
stop. Here, can you teach me how to make a proper plan too? What it would kind of what way of making a plan would be the best? Kind of I can the time efficient and at the same time it may help me to write more and better.
A simple time efficient plan is to jot down three quick steps. First, define your main ideas, just bullet point them. Second, for each idea, note one example or detail. Third, decide a quick stance, positive or negative. This gives you a
All right.
clear outline
Let's
in minutes.
use this strategy that you are talking for this question given about.
Absolutely. So, first, for reasons, jot down three quick ideas. Maybe environmental awareness, health benefits,
Right,
and
right, right.
cost
Can
savings.
you to be more visually friendly? I'm not sure is it called like this. Can you use some bullet points in our chat that it would be more understandable for me?
Of course, here's a quick outline. Main ideas, reasons: environmental awareness, health benefits, cost savings. For each, add a quick example. Environment, less pollution. Health, daily exercise. Cost, no fuel or parking fees. Stance, overall, it's a beneficial trend. This way, you have a skeleton ready, making writing smoother.
Don't you think the main ideas are a lot? Kind of environmental awareness, health benefits, cost saving. And you're saying giving example, less polluted environmental awareness and less pollution, and that we don't make much pollution after we know about it. Okay, I understood you. Health, uh, can that we do daily exercise and we become more healthy, and we become healthier, or at least we are unlikely to get sick a lot. Then cost savings, no fuel, no parking fees. Good. And overall, it improves both environment, people's health. No, it improves all environment, people's health, and the financial status of people. I'm not sure about the word financial status is proper here. And then next, what I talk about that, I
You've
don't
got
know. I think it's conclusion, I guess.
exactly. After laying out those reasons, you'd conclude by tying them together. You might say something like, in short, the rise of bicycles helps the environment, improves health, and eases financial burdens, making it a positive trend. Simple and effective.
Right. Can you do step by step, slowly writing process? First, let's start from introduction.
Sure. Step one, introduction. Start with a broad sentence introducing the topic. Something like, in many countries, bicycles are becoming a preferred mode of commuting. Next, briefly hint at your main points. This trend is driven by environmental, health, and financial factors. Lastly, show your position or the question. It's worth considering whether this shift is a positive development. Now we've set the stage.
It's gonna be hell of a essay. Okay.
It can feel that way at first, but trust me, once you have a clear structure and break it down, it becomes second nature. You'll get there.
All right. So, sometimes I'm not kind of, mm, how can I say? Can I say I become hesitant when I'm not sure about doing something? How to explain this process with a necessary sentence or phrasing?
Yes, you can say you become hesitant or you hesitate. Another natural phrase is I second guess myself or I have doubts. You could say when I'm not sure how to proceed, I tend to hesitate. That's a clear way to express that feeling of uncertainty.
I have doubts while I'm writing introduction, and when it comes to starting the first big round sentence. What I am really hesitant about was what I really hesitate about was um, using present continuous or present perfect. It has been a widely debated topic, or the views divide or are becoming. So, what would be solution to this problem?
The trick is to focus on the time frame you want to convey. If it's a trend that's been growing up to now, present perfect works, like has become more popular. If it's describing something ongoing right now, then present simple or present continuous fits, like are becoming. My advice: decide if you're emphasizing a recent change, present perfect, or an ongoing trend, present or continuous, and stick with that tense in your introduction.
So, in many countries, bicycles are becoming.
Yeah,
becoming, just a second, becoming a preferred,
take your
preferred
time.
mode of transport.
That sounds clear. Now you can move on to. That's a solid opening. Now, after that, you can briefly mention the reasons you'll cover. Just a hint so the reader knows what's coming.
Yeah, it's a positive trend as it offers a lot of
Benefits.
health. Just a second, just a second. What did you say? Health, financial.
Exactly. You can say something like, such as environmental benefits, improved health, and financial savings. That sets up the reader for your body paragraphs. And you'll be ready to dive into your reasoning. That's a great introduction. You've clearly set up your position and the main points. Now we just move into those body paragraphs, one reason at a time. Let's keep that flow going.
No, but don't you think these two sentences are enough?
For an IELTS introduction, that's actually perfect. You just need a clear topic opening and a hint of your main points. The rest is all about the body paragraphs. So, yes, 2 to 3 sentences. That's the ideal balance.
All right, let's choose one topic and show me how to make the better or the best, let's say, paragraph or expressing your point. Then I'll do the second point with the same strategy, but do it slowly with bullet points and try to make it more understandable.
Absolutely. Let's pick one reason. Let's say environmental benefits. I'll break it down. First, a topic sentence. One key reason bicycles are popular is their positive impact on the environment. Next, give a supporting detail. Unlike cars, bikes produce no emissions, reducing air pollution in cities. Then add a small example or fact. For instance, studies show cities with more cyclists have cleaner air quality. Finally, link it back. Thus, cycling directly contributes to a healthier planet. Now you can mirror that structure for your next point.
The one key reason bicycles are popular is their positive impact on the environment. Unlike cars, bicycles produce no emission, reducing air pollution in cities. For instance, studies show cities with more cyclists have cleaner air quality, so cycling directly contributes to a healthier planet. What was the next point?
The next point we had mentioned earlier was health benefits. You'd follow the same structure: a clear topic sentence about health, a detail like cycling promoting daily exercise, a brief example or stat, and then a sentence linking it back to why that's a positive shift. So you'll just mirror that pattern. That's great. You've got a clear topic sentence supporting reasoning and an example. Just keep refining your transitions and keep it concise. You followed the structure well, and with practice, it'll feel even more natural.
Okay, what's the problem of this um, piece of writing that I sent?
The main idea is solid, but it can be a bit tighter. You could be more direct. For example, rather than certain groups, specify right away, like the general public or commuters. Also aim for smoother flow between ideas. But honestly, you've done well. Just focus on precision and clarity.
What about grammar and vocabulary?
Grammar wise, it's mostly fine, but you could tighten things up. For example, using bicycles enhances subject verb agreement. Vocabulary wise, it's clear. Just consider adding a precise term like cardiovascular fitness instead of physical movements. Small tweaks will elevate it further, but you're already on track.
What score would it get?
I can't give an exact band score without a full essay and official criteria. But based on that paragraph, you're showing solid organization and clarity. With a bit more precision and variety in vocabulary, you'd be aiming around a 7 or even higher, if the rest matches.
What would be a level of this paragraph?
To push it to an 8 level, you'd want more precise, varied vocabulary. Perhaps cardiovascular health instead of physical movements. You'd aim for smoother transitions, like furthermore or in addition, and ensure precise grammar. With those refinements, you'd be edging into Band Aid territory.
Can you write one?
Certainly, here's an example. Another major benefit is improved public health. Cycling regularly promotes cardiovascular fitness, reducing risks of heart disease. For instance, cities with high cycling rates report lower obesity levels. Thus, cycling not only benefits individuals, but reduces public healthcare burdens. This keeps it precise, cohesive, and high level.
All right, I try to write paragraph for another point.
Whenever you're ready, give that next paragraph a go. I'll be here to refine and help you polish it. You've structured that well. To polish it further, you might say commuting by bike eliminates fuel and parking costs. Instead of traffic fees, you could say transportation expenses. Also, using bicycles as a means of transport would be a touch smoother. Overall, though, you're building strong, clear points.
All right. I know that this point about developed comparison between developed countries and third world war countries. Somehow, I think I lost the cohesion there. Am I right? How would it be more smoothly connected?
You're right. Keeping cohesion is key. Instead of jumping straight to comparing countries, you might say something like in many developed countries, these savings allow even middle income families to invest in their future. Whereas in less developed countries, such opportunities may be limited to the wealthy. This way, it flows naturally and ties directly to the financial benefit
So,
you're.
is this idea was properly used there?
The idea itself is fine, but it was a bit abrupt. By smoothly linking the comparison back to savings and investments, it becomes more cohesive. So, refining how you introduce the comparison ensures the idea works well in context.
In many developed countries, the savings allow even middle-income families to invest in the future, whereas in less developed countries, such opportunities may be limited to the wealthy. Okay, now somehow I struggle expressing the ideas as smoothly as you do. For example, if you compare the sentence that you made and what I made, there is a huge, not huge, I think there's a difference that you are using proper collocations, but I think grammar structures were almost the same. What do you recommend me to achieve this level?
You're already on the right track. The key is exposure and practice. Read high level essays or opinion pieces and note how ideas flow. Then practice rewriting your own sentences with varied collocations. Even small tweaks, revising a few sentences daily, will build that natural feel, like muscle memory. Over time, it'll feel just as smooth when you write.
So it seems that my problem with not knowing enough collocation and language chunks. Yep, I am mostly creating them mechanically. Can it be phrased like this?
Yes, you've phrased it well. You're likely relying on constructing sentences piece by piece. To move beyond that, focus on learning common word pairings, those natural chunks. The more you expose yourself to well written texts and consciously note these phrases, the more naturally they'll come to you. Soon, you won't be building mechanically. You'll just speak or write in smooth chunks.
So what would be the best ways of kind of acquiring these chunks? Just keep practicing or having some time to memorize them or just immersion and exposure is the key.
It's a mix. Immersion is key. Regularly read or listen to quality material, noticing how phrases naturally appear. But also practice intentionally. Keep a notebook of useful collocations and review them. Try using them in your own writing or speech. Over time, they'll become second nature. So, a bit of memorization, a lot of exposure, and consistent practice.
There
That's
are
the.
okay, there are two problems. First, to be honest, I can say, um, yeah, I have enough immersion. I immerse myself into English, I think, um, strong enough because I spent most of my time consuming English content, watching podcasts. It's not a kind of shallow content. At the same time, I can say academic content, political content, podcasts, high level content. However, I don't see myself using these phrases naturally. Secondly, in terms of memorization, it seems not boring. I can say it seems overwhelming. And there are so many phrases and chunks that it looks hey may take age to I don't know memorize and make them second nature.
It's completely normal to feel that way. You're immersing yourself well, but passive exposure alone doesn't flip the switch instantly. Start small, pick just a few phrases each week. Then deliberately use them in writing or speech. The key is active practice. When you try them out in real situations, they stick. You don't need to memorize everything at once. Just a steady, manageable habit makes all the difference over time.
What do you think is possible to, I don't know, score at C2 level with my speaking or with my writing? The words that I'm using, grammar that I'm using, or the way I phrase words, the way I make sentence. Is there any possibility of acquiring? No, I can't say acquiring. Let's say scoring C2 in an exam.
Absolutely, it's possible. You already have a solid foundation. C2 isn't about perfection, it's about flexibility, precision, and natural flow. You're already working on the right elements, broadening your vocabulary, refining your collocations, and fine tuning your structure. Keep that targeted practice going, and over time, those C2 level scores will be well within your reach.
And okay, yeah, I gotta say that I want to get really high score, kind of 9 in IELTS or C2 level. But what I really want is speaking clearly and smoothly as most anchors and journalists do in social media or on social media. I mean, for example, recently I've been watching one of the prominent journalists, global journalists, Mehdi Hassan. He lives in United States. He has dual citizenship, if I'm not mistaken. He's a really articulate person. He can phrase everything smoothly and naturally. I know that he was born in United States, but I don't see most even native speakers speaking as he speaks.
Mehdi Hassan is indeed a great example of eloquence. The key is that people like him have honed their craft. Years of practice, deliberate language choices, and constant refinement. You're on the right path. Continue practicing clarity, expanding your vocabulary, and focusing on structure. Over time, your fluency, precision, and smoothness will grow. You don't need to be born somewhere. You just keep sharpening that skill set, and
Yeah,
you'll
I
sound
got
just as.
you. So I want to reach that level as fast as possible. That's my aim because not only him, I see most
I'm
people
sorry,
kind of
but you've
having
hit the
conversation.
daily limit for advanced voice.
We've been talking so great. So it's over. Can we continue our conversation?
Of course, I'm here and I'd love to keep the conversation going. Whether you want to dive into more language strategies,
All right.
discuss other.
Why did it stop? I'm curious about it.
Ah, I see what you mean. Yeah, sometimes I just give a little pause when I'm waiting for you to jump in or if I'm thinking about how to
No,
respond.
no, it's not about it. I heard the kind of sentence, your daily limit for advanced voice is up or over. You heard such a sentence?
Ah, gotcha. Yes, that message can pop up when the system hits a limit for the day on more advanced voice features. No worries though, if that happens, we can just
So
keep it.
are you an advanced voice feature or it's some kind of policy or I don't understand honestly why it happens mostly.
Ah, yeah. So the advanced voice features are kind of a special layer on top. It's just a separate tool from the core model. Sometimes after a certain number of interactions, you just hit a daily cap. But don't worry, I can still help with regular voice, or we can switch back to just text if needed.
Right, let's have a conversation. I was talking about um, my clear aim in terms of speaking, especially. In terms of writing, also, I want to write neatly and can I use articulately writing? But I think articulately is used for spoken language.
Ah, good point. Yeah, articulate is usually used for speaking when someone expresses themselves very clearly and effectively. For writing, you can say you aim for coherent, precise, or eloquent writing. Those capture that same clarity, but for the page. So we can.
Eloquent. Good word, yeah, eloquent. Eloquent means kind of phrasing everything precisely without any kind of trouble for reader or listener. Smooth, natural.
Exactly. Eloquent writing flows naturally and captures the reader's attention, just like a well articulated speech. So, as you practice, focus on choosing your words with care, varying your sentence structure, and maintaining a clear, logical progression of
Is
ideas.
there any kind of exercise or techniques that help people to be more articulate or eloquent?
Absolutely. One great exercise is reading high quality material out loud, articles, essays, even speeches. Then pause and try to paraphrase them in your own words. Another technique is recording yourself. Speak on a topic, listen back, and note where you stumble or could be clearer. And finally, practice summarizing complex ideas in simple language. This forces you to choose your words more deliberately, which builds that eloquence over time.
And another things I mostly hesitate is my pronunciation. For example, I learned the word eloquent right now, yes, or I mentioned the word articulate several times. I'm not sure I'm kind of pronouncing them properly. How to solve this problem?
That's a really common challenge, and it's great that you're aware of it. One technique is to listen to native speakers say those words. You can find pronunciation guides on YouTube or even dictionary apps that give audio examples. Then practice by repeating them out loud, slowly at first, and record yourself. Over time, that repetition will build confidence and clarity.
What do you think? How important is pronunciation? Um, how care should I be while I am talking about my pronunciation? Do you think right now I have clear pronunciation?
Yeah, you actually have a pretty clear pronunciation already. The main thing is just smoothing out a few tricky words like eloquent or articulate so they come out naturally. I'd say don't stress too much, just aim for consistency. As long as you're understood easily, you're in a good place.
Right, pretty fair is right why I'm saying this word.
Exactly. And I think you're doing a great job staying conscious of it. Keep it balanced. No need to overthink every single word, but when you notice a word is off, just slow down, practice it, and soon it'll feel just as natural as the rest. Keep it up.
Hey, we've been interacting for a while, so have you identified any kind of phrases that I have to learn to be better speaker? Can you offer me some chunks or phrases that really help me to fine tune my speech and to remove or to get rid of my bad habit using the word kinda? I know about somewhat. You offered this word, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely. Yeah. So a few really useful chunks you can incorporate are things like what I mean is, or in other words, to clarify. You can also use phrases like for instance, or to put it another way to introduce examples. And instead of saying kinda or sort of, just pause, take a breath, and be more direct. The more you practice those set phrases, the more natural it'll feel, and it'll just clean up those little filler habits.
Okay, let's have a conversation to get rid of this kinda or sort of issues. You're gonna ask me questions. Uh, the topic doesn't matter, and I try to answer without using kinda or sort of.
That sounds perfect. All right, let me ask you this. Can you describe a daily habit you have that helps you stay productive and why it works so well for you?
Currently, I don't have any specific habit that can help me to be more productive. However, I used to have one. It was taking cold showers. When I used to take cold showers, I felt more energized and I felt more motivated. And I could say that my days were way more efficient than my current days.
That's a great example. You did really well staying away from those fillers. I think just keep practicing that same approach,
Okay,
pausing before a
okay.
filler, and
Let's
you.
do at least 10 questions, right? I think if we do something once, we can say that we changed something. 10 times maybe at least the minimum bar to say that we are changing something.
I love that idea. Absolutely. We'll go through 10 different questions and I'll keep them varied. So let's do another one. Can you tell me about a place you visited that left a strong impression on you and explain why it was so memorable?
I don't know, I visited several places. I found most of them memorable. Maybe the one that I want to talk is something near. Let's talk about the local park called Magic City, which is located in the center of my hometown. The reason why it was memorable because I visited there with my 2-year-old son, and it was his first time to visiting places like this, kind of the place that has entertaining features, zoo, and it was not, it was aquarium, and we spent around 3 or 4 hours, but it was really quality of time. We enjoyed the thing that really stood out was the lights fixed there. My son really liked it. He played with that, and it gives extra sense, extra feeling, everything there. Especially there were a lot of fish, of course. My son honestly wasn't so interested in fish, but the lights there.
That was really nice. You had a lot of great detail. Just a couple small adjustments. Instead of I found most of them memorable, you can say I found many of them memorable. Also, instead of it was his first time to visiting, you can say it was his first time visiting a place like this. But overall, that was a great, vivid memory, and you kept the structure really clear. Ready for the next question?
Ready, ready.
Awesome. All right, next question. Can you describe a skill you'd really like to develop and explain why it's important to you?
Um, there's a skill that's really necessary for me right now. I really regret not having it. It is driving skills. I can drive, however, I don't have a driving license. So right now I am planning to prepare for driving license after taking IELTS examination. The reason why I would like to have or I would like to learn this skill is in our country, not I think in our country, I mean that in our life, it's very important to control transport. You should have your own car because sometimes you have to take your children to somewhere or you have to do shopping. Or, for example, my parents live in another region of my country, so I really want to visit them regularly. However, as I don't own my personal car, I have to take a taxi or train and they are, I can't say they are cheap enough. So having a car at the same time may save my time, save my money, and I feel more comfortable to move anywhere.
That was really clear. You gave a strong reason and a personal context. Just a couple tweaks. Instead of I really regret not having it, you can say I really regret not having it yet. And instead of in our life, just say in life to keep it simple. But really, that was a solid, well explained answer.
Right, let's keep continuing.
Of course. Here's the next one. Can you tell me about a book that had a big impact on the way you think and explain what you took away from it?
Yes, the book is called Outliers. The author was Malcolm Gladwell. He's an author of a lot of several bestseller books around the world. He's a psychologist. And this book is particularly about the top professions in different fields, including athletes, celebrities, I mean that celebrities, singers, actors, and wealthy people. And in this book, he tried to define the main reasons behind their success. And I can't say create, he discovered a rule called 10,000 hours. He tried to prove the role of this rule in success of these people. What I took away from this book was the importance of hard work in our success. If you work hard enough, everything seems possible. Although there were claims, or there are some claims that this rule doesn't apply always, or it hasn't been proven fully, but I think it really worked and helped to improve my mindset.
That was really strong. You kept it clear and stayed on point. Just a few tiny adjustments. Instead of he created the rule, you can say he popularized the rule. And instead of it hasn't been proven fully, say it hasn't been fully proven. But your takeaway was fantastic. You really explained its impact on your mindset. Let's keep going. What's the next question you'd like?
Am I using the word kinda, sort of, or not?
No, actually, you avoided it really well that time. You kept your phrasing direct and precise. So great job. No fillers there. If you
So
catch any features,
let's continue.
perfect. All right, next question. Can you describe a challenge you faced recently and explain how you overcame it?
To be honest, I can't remember facing anything difficult recently. Maybe my moving from my rental house to the new one, maybe challenge. Actually, around 10 days ago, I had to kind of move out of my apartment because we had some disagreements with the owner of the house over rental price, and it was a bit further than my working place. So I decided to rent a new apartment. It took a week to find a new one. Then I had to meet estate agent and then the owner of new house. And it was not the most difficult part. The most difficult part was ahead. It was taking all my furniture, clothes, and things from my old house and transporting them to new house. It took 3 days to move everything. However, I did it. My family helped a lot. My father came. We moved everything together. I actually hired 2 or 3 lorries, if I'm not mistaken, out of inexperience. Actually, 2 were enough. However, I hired 3, and that was a challenge that I faced and overcame recently.
That was really good. You kept it organized and gave a lot of detail. Just a couple small tweaks. Instead of it was a bit further than my working place, you can say it was a bit farther from my workplace. And you could say I hired 2 or 3 trucks instead of lorries, since that keeps it more neutral. But overall, fantastic
All
job. Your
right,
explanation
all
was really
right,
clear.
all right. I think there's no difference between father and father, or is there?
Good catch. There is actually a difference. Farther refers to physical distance, like how far something is, while further is more abstract, like additional progress or metaphorical distance. So when you're talking about
All
location,
right, all
farther is.
right. It's a new nuisance for me. I have never kind of seen, never actually learned about this distinction. However, I saw places that Moscow is further to our country than Bishkek. Is it acceptable?
Great point. In informal speech, a lot of people do mix them up, and that kind of usage is pretty common. So, yes, in everyday conversation, you'll often hear further and farther used interchangeably. Just keep it in mind for formal writing, then stick to that subtle distinction.
All right, but lorry and truck, I think truck's an American word, lorry is British word. They should be also interchangeable, I guess.
Exactly, that's right. Truck is the term most commonly used in American English, while lorry is the British term. So, yes, depending on which English variety you're using, they can be swapped, but just make sure you're consistent within a context.
So am I consistent? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're mostly consistent. You used lorry earlier, so if you stick with that, it's fine. Just keep in mind which variety you're aiming for, British or American, and stay consistent. But overall, you did a good job.
All right, carry on. Let's carry on.
Perfect. Here's the next one. Can you describe a hobby or activity you do in your free time and explain why it's important to you or how it benefits you?
All right. There is only one activity that I try to do in my free time when I'm totally free, kind of not studying, not reading, no family issues. It's playing a video game. And I have a one friend. I have a lot of friends, but I have one particular friend who I play with, and his name is Jamshid. And whenever we have free time, we go to the computer club or we play online together against each other. So we have a game called Warcraft. It's pretty old game, and I can't say many people know and play this game. However, we've been playing this game for around, I think, 6 or 7 years. We may play this game once a month or once in 2 months if our kind of situation allows. So that's it. The reason why it's important to unwind, I guess. Sometimes we may burn out, we may feel stressed due to the pressure from our work, from our family, and during these times we need a little bit distraction. This game may serve me as such a distraction that I can refresh my mental energy and I can go back to work and my family issues with full power.
That was really well explained. You stayed focused on the activity and gave a clear reason why it matters. Just a couple of small tweaks. Instead of I have a one friend, say I have one particular friend. And instead of if our situation allows, just say when our schedules allow. But overall, that was great. Really smooth and purposeful.
Yeah, I'm ready for the next one.
Awesome. Here's the next question. Can you describe a goal you have for the next year and explain what steps you plan to take to achieve it?
Honestly, I'm not a big fan of setting goals because mostly we feel really disappointed if we cannot achieve our goals, or we may limit ourselves with this bar that we put ahead of us. Instead of, I think if we have daily habits or daily plans, it would be more useful and productive. However, I have some wish for next year. I want to have my own house and buy my own car in the next year. I don't have specific plans, just I keep working, keep studying, keep earning, and keep saving. And I hope I may achieve my goals then or dreams.
That was really thoughtful. You kept the focus on daily habits, which is great, and you expressed that balance between flexibility and long term aspiration really well. Just a tiny refinement. Instead of we feel really disappointed if we cannot achieve our goals, you can say we often feel disappointed if we don't achieve them. But it was really good overall, very
So
genuine.
what's the difference between saying I feel really disappointed and I often feel disappointed?
Good question. When you say I feel really disappointed, it's about one immediate moment, like a strong emotion right then. When you say I often feel disappointed, it means this is a recurring experience, something that happens
Gotcha.
more regularly over time. So the second one captures a pattern, while the first is a single reaction.
All right, thank you for clarification. Do you have any question left?
Yes, we do. We still have a few more. So let me ask you another one. Can you tell me about a person who has had a significant influence on your life and explain how they shaped you?
If I have to talk about one particular person who has a great influence on me and my life, it's my mom. She raised me, she fed me, she taught me a lot of things. Firstly, I can say, installed moral compass in me. She taught me how to study, how to behave well, how to respect others. And at the same time, there were moments she dedicated herself fully to our family, working and taking care of us at the same time. she's a really nice person. She's really outgoing and hardworking. Um, despite the fact that she were a bit stricter towards us at times, she always wishes the best for us. So I think this person is my mom.
That was really heartfelt, and you did a wonderful job explaining her impact. Just a couple small tweaks. Instead of she installed moral compass in me, you can say she instilled a moral compass in me. And instead of she were a bit stricter, just say she was a bit stricter. But otherwise, it was really powerful, and you kept that emotional connection really strong.
Now, what score would I get? What do you think for this performance in real exam?
So I can give you a rough idea, but of course, it's just an estimate. I'd say your fluency and coherence are really strong. You kept a good pace and connected your ideas. Vocabulary solid, though a few small range limitations. Grammar was mostly accurate, just a couple slips. I'd estimate maybe a band 7 or a high 6.5, so you're on the right track. Keep
Okay,
practicing.
what were these limitations? What kind of vocabulary limitation did you feel?
Good question. So the limitations were mostly in variety. For instance, when expressing feelings or actions, you sometimes used simpler, more repetitive words like good or nice. If you expanded your vocabulary with more precise adjectives, things like profound, transformative, or challenging, you push your range higher. But don't
For
worry.
instance, show me the sentence that I used these simpler words and show me the possible better versions of them.
Of course, for example, you said, she's a really nice person. A more specific version could be, she's a truly compassionate and dedicated person. Another example, instead of saying, I feel stressed, you could say, I feel overwhelmed by the pressure of my responsibilities. These small changes give your language more precision and variety.
All right, so how can I acquire this level? Can I use the word compassionate, dedicated person instead of saying a nice, very nice person, really nice person?
Yeah, that's a great goal. I'd say the best approach is active exposure and deliberate practice. Read and listen to a variety of high level content like articles,
Yeah,
essays.
you already told about it. But what do you think? Did I get rid of using kinda?
Yes, you really did. I think you were much more intentional about your phrasing this time, and you kept the language precise and direct.
Were there any
So,
times that I used it?
no, actually, I didn't notice any instances this time. You were really conscious and caught yourself before any filler words slipped in. So, great job. You stayed on track, and it sounded really natural.
Yeah, another reason why I couldn't use a precise vocabulary is speaking faster and not using fillers while I'm speaking. It also can take some mental energy because I have to watch out for my sentence. I should be careful when my brain wants to pronounce the word kinda. I try to use the lower level word instead of searching for the higher level word. The main reason why I mostly use it to phrase the word kinda was I tried to use a precise word, but it takes much time to find this word and use it in my speech. Sometimes, the word comes after some time, after minutes, after I finish the whole speaking practice. Oh, my brain can sentence this word. This word comes to my mind.
That's a really insightful point. Yeah, when you're speaking quickly, it does take extra cognitive effort to grab those precise words, and that's totally normal. Over time, it gets easier. Just keep practicing that balance. Maybe
Yeah,
slow.
another problem with about hesitation also. As I mentioned before, I hesitate a lot. I hesitate the precision of my words. Am I using the correct word? Am I using the correct collocation or not? And as a result, I may sound less fluent. So which is better, speaking faster and fluently with simple words or making a pause and trying to find the precise words?
That's a great question. And honestly, I think a balance is key. Early on, it's totally okay to pause briefly to find a precise word. Better that than filling with kinder. Once you get comfortable, you can speed up, but still give yourself those small pauses. They actually sound really professional and intentional.
All right. I think I can take some break. Can I say I can take some break or some breaks? How to phrase it properly?
Ah, good catch. You'd want to say, I can take a short break if it's just one, or I can take some breaks if you mean more than one. So either a break for a single pause or some breaks for multiple. That'll
Yeah,
keep it
so
grammatically
I
correct.
can take a short break because I don't know how long I've been practicing, but I felt a little bit tired. 1 hour. I think it's pretty decent amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 hour of focus practice is a solid amount, and it's really smart to take a break when you start feeling tired.